we are going to just go back over simplifying fractions. We did this in the beginning of the year, but I'm just going to do this for a refresher. So we're simplifying fractions. Remember, you are not changing the value of the fraction. You are just breaking it down to its simplest form. Okay. What we're going to use are what's called magic numbers. You are going to try to divide the top and bottom number by either 2, 3, or 5. Now, I did write down some rules. This paper is going to go in your journal. At the end of this video, I want you to glue it in. I did write some division rules, okay? So when you're dividing by 2, you can divide any even number, okay? It's either going to be 12, 2 is an even number, 46, or 780. I also want you to write down these 2, 4, 6, 8, and 0. If any of your numbers end here in 2, 4, 6, 8, and 0, you can divide it by 2. Okay, let's look at when you're dividing by 3. So it says the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So if we look over here in the example is 93. Well, I'm going to add those two numbers together. 9 plus 3 is going to give me 12. That is a multiple of 3, so yes, I can divide it by 3. Okay. So it's really important you know your multiples of 3 here. And the last one, when you're dividing by 5. So if a number ends with 0 or 5, it can be divided by 5. For example, 35, it ends in 5. 790, it ends in 0. And 55, okay? So as long as it has at the end either a 5 or a 0, you can divide it by 5. Another thing I want you to remember, if you choose one of these numbers, you have to divide that number. So for example, we're going to do the first one, 4 over 8. Okay, I know that these two are even numbers, so I can divide both the top and bottom by 2. So I'm choosing 2. What you cannot do is you cannot divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 3. No. If you choose the magic number 2, you better divide your top and bottom number by 2. Okay. So 4 divided by 2, let me zoom in for you. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Write my fraction bar. 8 divided by 2 is going to give me 4. Now, they're still even numbers, so I can still divide it. And then I'm going to still divide it by 2. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom number by 2. My people with calculators, just make sure you're keeping up with the numbers. I want you to write all this out. Okay? If you divided the top number by 2, you need to write it, because you're going to get confused. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. That is my simplest form. That's my answer. Okay, let's do the next one. The next one is 25 over 45. Okay, so when I'm choosing my magic numbers, I gotta remember my rules. So let's see, those are not even numbers. 3, let's see, 2 plus 5 is gonna give me 7. So no, I can't divide that by 3, but I can divide it by 5, because both of my numbers end in 5. So let's go divide the top number by 5 and the bottom number by 5. So 25 divided by 5 is going to give me 5, and 45 divided by 5 is going to give me 9. So that is my final form. Let's do the next one. Next one is 33 divided by 36. So I'm thinking about my magic numbers. I cannot divide by 2, because this is an odd number, the 3. Let's try dividing it by 3. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom number by 3. Sometimes you have to play with the magic numbers, just see which ones you can divide the top and bottom number by. Okay, so 33 divided by 3 is going to give me 11, and 36 divided by 3 is going to give me 12. I can't make that any smaller. I'm just going to put a box around it because that's my answer. And the last one, I can divide the top by 2, but I cannot divide the bottom by 2. Same for 3. So no. So this is already in its simplest form. Okay. I do want you to do some practice. When you're finished with this small little notes page, raise your hand and I'll give you this one. This is just practice, going to be extra credit. I want you to simplify each of these fractions. Remember your magic numbers. Magic numbers are 2, 3, and 5. Okay.